Hello and welcome. This is the class number 45 of the UPSC Mains Answer Writing Initiative, where we are trying to simplify the UPSC Mains Answer Writing for all of you. This is the 45th consecutive day that we are here. Every single evening at 7 p.m. we have this class where we take up a previous year question, try and resolve that, try and write an answer to that, and also give you a homework for you to practice further. Also reminding you, after the prelims exam will be over, we will be starting our Mastering UPSC Mains Answer Writing program suitable for both 2024 and 2025 and further batches. This is a hand-holding program to mentor you about answer writing. It will be a program which will go on in a weekly manner. Every single week I'll give you some study targets based on which you'll be given a test. Every single week the level of questions will increase. We'll also have one-on-one interaction every single week to track your progress, to make sure that you're on the right track. So if you want to register for this program or if you want any more details, feel free to contact either on this email ID or on this given phone number. Let's see what do we have for you today. But before we do that, once again, a reminder that I always give you in every single class. If you are new here, if this is your first class ever of answer writing and you don't know how and where to begin, I would highly recommend you to go and watch class number 1 of this answer writing initiative. I'm giving the link of the playlist in the description of the video. Go to that, go to class number 1, and you will be able to get that part where we discuss about the structure of the answer, how to write the answer, what to write in the introduction, main body, etc. Go see that and then you can come back. Now let's see what question are we taking up today. Today we are taking up question from 2022 GS3 paper that UPS has already asked. The question is slightly tricky. If you have not read about this, it might get slightly difficult for you. Each year, a large amount of plant material, cellulose, is deposited on the surface of planet Earth. What are the natural processes this cellulose undergoes before yielding carbon dioxide, water, and other end products? So it's a slightly technical question. Those who have not read this topic in science, it might become slightly difficult for you. If you have read this and you know how cellulose is, or if you are from, let's say, bio background, it would be a pretty simple, straightforward question. So question is basically about cellulose. Cellulose is again a derivative of plant. A large amount of cellulose from the plants gets deposited because again it undergoes different changes in the life cycle. You have to tell the process that it undergoes before it turns into carbon dioxide, water, and other end products. So processes such as biosynthesis, how does it actually get into biothermal heating, all these processes have to be given before it actually yields this end product. So how do we write this? Structure will be simple. In the intro, we'll define what is cellulose. Just give a definition of what actually cellulose, where do you find it in the main body. If you you can give some properties of cellulose, and then after that you can come to this main part, that is the process that it undergoes. So process has to be step by step because that is the entire part of the question. Because the question is mainly focused on you writing the process, you have to make sure that you write it in detail in a step by step process or a step by step manner so that it is very clear that you know it. And then in the conclusion, you can give, let's say, some of the importance or significance of cellulose. If significance or uses, basically where can we use it, or properties, whatever you want to call it. So basically that is how we will structure the answer. We'll start by introducing what cellulose is. In the main body, we'll write about properties and the process, that is the main part of the question. The conclusion, we'll write about the significance, how it can be helpful. So let's see. In the beginning, we have just defined it. It is considered as the most abundant organic compound on the earth. The formula is C6H10. It has to be written like this, C6H10O5, and then you can give it any power. It is a structural component in the primary cell wall of the green plants. So as I said, is it derived from the plants mainly. Some species of bacteria also secreted in the form of to form biofilms. Then we write the main body, in which we write some properties, just a few of them. They consist oxygen, carbon, and hydrogen. They are tasteless compounds. They are biodegradable, insoluble in water. Then we'll come to the main part, which is about the process that it undergoes. So first, biosynthesis. Biosynthesis basically is a process in which inside the plants cellulose is synthesized at the plasma membrane. It is synthesized by RTCs called the Rosette terminal complexes. Next step is a breakdown. This process is called cellulosis. It is the process which is named after breaking down of cellulose into smaller polysaccharides, which are also called cellodextrins, into glucose units. The breakdown products are used by bacteria for proliferation, means bacteria can increase its population using these products, and the bacterial mass is digested by the ruminants in the digestive system. That is the second step. Then the breakdown in form of thermolysis. When the temperature is above 350 degrees Celsius, cellulose undergoes a thermolysis, that is pyrolysis. Pyrolysis basically increasing temperature to an extremely large extent for the breakdown of the components. It decomposes into solid char, vapors, aerosols. That is how the entire process usually works. So again, you have to give a step-by-step description, because that is what the main question is about. Now, in these kind of questions, the problem is that you can't really make any guesses. Science-based questions or technical questions are usually, if you know the answer, you write the answer. If you don't know, you would not be able to write it. So these are those kind of questions where you either get very good marks or you get almost zero. Because if you don't know what is cellulose or how does a breakdown occur, then you would not be able to write anything and it will be a short zero for you. On the other hand, if you know the answer, then you can write it, and that is why in these kind of papers in GS3, either you get good marks, and when I say good marks, 105 about, or you get very bad marks, 70, 75, 80. Because again, the difference lies in these kind of science-based or environment-based questions which are technical in nature, which if you know, you should be able to write. If you don't know, you can't really make any guesses there. Then we'll conclude it about writing about how it can be used. Its conversion from energy crops to biofuels such as cellulosic ethanol is under development, and it can be used as a renewable fuel source. Biofuel production from cellulose could help India and the countries around the world to achieve their target of Paris Climate Agreement and to help them give a boost toward generation of renewable energy. Something like this can be the conclusion. Again, the answers that we discuss here are not the only ideal answers. There can be a number of other ways to write it. It depends entirely upon you. If you have some other ideas, if you have some other content, feel free to include those as well. This is just to give you a structure that this is how the usual answer has to be written in these kind of questions. If you think that no, I have a better way forward, please go ahead and do that. There's no problem. This is not the only one way in which you can write it. Now, homework for you. The homework today is from Polity. Evaluate the effectiveness of Supreme Court directives on living wills in India, identifying challenges in their execution and suggesting measures to improve accessibility and streamline the process for individuals facing terminal illnesses. So it's a interesting question, long question. The focus of the question is on the idea of the living wills. I've told this earlier as well. While practicing answer writing, let's say you have to write this answer and you don't know what is living will, and you don't know what the Supreme Court's judgment on living will is, then obviously you won't be able to write the answer. So rather than just wasting your time in trying to write the answer where you don't even know, it's better to first read about it. Read a couple of articles about what is living will, read a few articles about the Supreme Court judgment on the living will, and then try and write the answer. So don't attempt an answer when you don't even know the content, because the entire point is you should at least know what to write. That is how you can practice. So if you don't know the topic, read about it and then try and write the answer. If you want, I can evaluate this for you. You can send it here. I'll try and send it back in usually a couple of days. This brings us to the end of today's class. Thank you so much for joining in. If you have not subscribed to the channel so far, do hit the subscribe button and join the Telegram channel as well to get all the PDFs of these lectures and other updates. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Jai Hind.